Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday. It's the 11th day of November 2022. I hope you're healthy and safe today. I hope the same could be said for your family, that your family is healthy and safe, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Happy Friday. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders who every day are trying to save lives. And those that pick up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks and parks clean. And those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims also of pornography and child pornography. The victims also of prostitution and child prostitution. The victims of human trafficking and sex slavery. And double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and those profiteers that traffic in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children on the streets of the United States right now, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them. For theirs is the kingdom. So tonight, there's a scheduled basketball game at Madison Square Garden where the New York Knicks are hosting the Detroit Pistons at the Garden in New York City. Now, for the Pistons, Cade Cunningham is day to day. Hamidou Diallo, who's actually from New York, is questionable, and he's listed as day to day. Alec Burks, the former Knick, is out, as well as Marvin Bagley. He's out as well. This is a game for the Knicks. Again, I think it was last week. It's a game for the Knicks on Friday night to get themselves right. Okay. You cannot discount, disrespect any NBA team these days. They're all in various phases of trying to build toward a championship. Every team is doing that. And Pistons, of course, are in a rebuild with a young Cade Cunningham in his second season, and then Jaden Ivey as a rookie, and then plays, like I mentioned, like a Marvin Bagley and a Sadiq Bey and a Isaiah Stewart. Young players, all under 25, just developing in the NBA, finding their game, finding how to play together. And so they have a great coach in Dwayne Casey, one of the coaches I respect a lot, came out of the Toronto system, having led them to the brink of a championship before Nurse took over and took it across the finish line with the help of Kawhi Leonard. But Dwayne Casey's an excellent coach. They're rebuilding. Their organization is starting from the ground up. They got a front office guy that's on board, that they got the whole organization on board, including Dwayne Casey. They're picking the players that they want to add to their team. You couldn't offer them anything to get Jaden Ivey from them this past draft. The Knicks tried. They weren't giving up Jaden Ivey because he's another piece toward building a solid foundation for a solid organization in Detroit for the future. So this is an up-and-coming team. The Knicks have to use this game to get themselves right. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, brethren, it's a long season. Okay, it's a long season. Basketball is a sport, right? And like all sports, you play with your emotions, you play with your head, but you play. There's a lot of aspects involved. You're dealing with world-class, high-level athletes. And so sometimes the loss of focus costs you bad, like it did against the Nets Wednesday. And you get these 2 days to refocus. When I listened to Tom Thibodeau's post-practice conference yesterday, it seemed like they were looking at the film, they were getting refocused. And Julius Randle, he has a habit of saying, throw this one in the garbage and start over. Can't really do that because you got to study what caused you to come out so terribly on Wednesday. They had, and Jalen Brunson said it very well. He said, there is no excuse for us to have come out with a lack of energy. Jalen Brunson actually said, if we'd have came out and played our best, put it all out there and lost, I could deal with that. He said, but we didn't. We didn't come with our best. We didn't come focused. And, and it's unacceptable. and Jalen Brunson is correct. Now, some people, of course, want to blame Tom Thibodeau for everything. I'm not one of those people. And some of y'all can't balance between respecting when somebody does something right and then saying it plain when they're not right. Some of y'all can't have that balance. You have to go hard one way or the other. Okay, it's sports. Me, I try to be balanced. Tom Thibodeau, yes, he lacks some creativity offensively. There's no doubt. He probably is better as a defensive coordinator than he is as a head coach. No doubt. But he is the head coach of the New York Knicks, and he knows defense, despite what you have been seeing. These guys are getting paid to play basketball. Okay? And they're not just getting paid $15 an hour. These guys are getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball. It is up to them to come prepared to play. Thibodeau does all that he can to get them prepared. He whips them into shape, makes sure that they come into camp into shape. He demands things of them. It's up to them to execute those things. Okay? That's how it is. So everybody takes responsibility. So if Brunson wasn't mentally prepared, if Randall definitely wasn't mentally prepared to play Wednesday, that's their fault. Okay? Now, if they continue to be unprepared, game after game after game, changes will have to be made. Okay? But I do not think that's going to be the case. This is one of the reasons we have a Jalen Brunson. He might come out against a Brooklyn Nets team in Brooklyn on Wednesday and not have his head on straight, trying to play hero ball, trying instead of chipping away at a lead, trying to get it all back at once. He might make those mistakes because he's human. But one thing I like about him, he's going to think about what happened. He's going to analyze what happened. And he's going to come out the next game seeking to be improved and to get himself right. See, Brunson is the key here. I always say that. They signed him to be the point guard, to give him the keys to the team, to let him run the team. He has got to be right. If he's not right, we're in trouble. See, and the reason is this. He's going to play 35 minutes a game. There is just no doubt. Tibbs is not going to bench him. See, if this was any other coach, not any other coach, but some coaches, and you see your starting point guard not ready, not right, there's some coach that'll yank him, okay? And you'd see Derrick Rose or Manny Quickly or Deuce McBride out there. But that's not Thibodeau. When he trusts a player, and this is him to a fault, like it or hate it, when he trusts a player, he gonna ride that player through thick and thin, okay? But it takes a lot to get Tibbs' trust. Brunson's been around with Tibbs. Tibbs has known him from before he was, knew when he was a baby. Knew his dad. They've been together a long time. So he trusts this kid. And there's no problem with that. But I'm just saying, don't expect him when Jalen Brunson's stinking up the joint that he's going to pull it. He's not going to. So Brunson's going to play 35 minutes a game. Therefore, he needs to be right for the Knicks to be right. He doesn't need to score 20 points a game. But he needs to make sure everybody's involved. Everybody's held accountable. Mr. Julius Randle. And he needs to make sure that he examines the game and keeps his head and doesn't play hero ball. And I believe he will do all that. Okay, this is the league, man. There's going to be games where teams get blown out. The Knicks have gotten blown out and they've blown out other teams in the past year. Every year this happens, okay? So you're going to get a blowout and then you're going to get blown out. This is the league. The Golden State Warriors have already gotten beat bad by Detroit. Okay. Just to give you an example, that could happen to anybody on any night. I'm not giving an excuse for the lack of effort and the lack of energy and the lack of focus we saw Wednesday night. That is inexcusable, but I'm also understanding this is the league and that happens. Okay. So that is what it is. Tonight they got the Pistons. They got to come focused starting with Brunson. Okay. Randall has got to come focused. To me, Randall at this point is going to give you what he gives you. It's just a question of how much of a leash he's going to get. If Brunson does his job, Randall should have a good game and should be relatively under control. At the beginning of the season, he was not doing a lot of turnovers. At the beginning of the season, he was not dribbling the ball to the court. He should stop doing that now. Brunson's got to make sure that happens. Okay, that's Brunson's part of his job. Got to make sure that happens. Because Julius Randle also has Tom Thibodeau's trust. He's not going to get benched. He's going to play 30 minutes a game. I'd like it to see a little less, like 25, so that Obi can get 20. But basically, he's going to start. He's going to play his minutes until the Knicks trade him. Some of y'all are getting confused in your own mind. Like, let me explain to you. The Knicks are not winning a championship this year. That's not the goal. The goal is first round of the playoffs. That's the goal. Not the play-in, first round of the playoffs. Okay? Some of you say, well, we'll never win a championship with Julius. We're not supposed to. By the time we're ready to win the chip, Julius won't be here. Okay? But this ain't the year. Right now, we're trying to get to the next step, which is consistency, which is development of guys we drafted, like a Obi Toppin, who's now getting regular minutes. We need him to get more, a little bit more, like a Emmanuel Quickly, like a Quentin Grimes, like a Jericho Sims, like a Mitchell Robinson, like a RJ Barrett. We're trying to get these guys to the next step. Okay, that's what we're doing. And in doing that, we can win 45 games. See, we could do that because the guys that Tibbs trusts that he would lean to in the past, like an Alfred Payton, like an Alec Burks, they're no longer here. So now those guys are replaced with an Emmanuel Quickly in terms of minutes, with an Obi Toppin. Okay, now with a Jalen Brunson. So we're in better shape overall to get where we might have gotten last year if Tibbs wasn't relying on guys that shouldn't have been relied upon. But now we got the right crew, at least close to it. So yes, they're going to lose some games. You know, you don't win 45 games without losing 37 games. Okay? So they're going to lose some games. Some of them they're going to get blown out. Some they're going to lose tight games, and they're going to win their share, and they're going to get their share of blowouts too. It's going to happen. So tonight is a night for the Knicks to get right. No pun intended, not trying to rap, but it is a night for the Knicks to get right, to play Detroit, to get their game back together, to come together in camaraderie. The problem I will see here is this on the positive side. I hope they don't take a win against Detroit as the winning of an NBA championship. Win this game, stay focused, and be ready for the next one. This is a game when they win it, throw this in the garbage, build on it, and go to the next one. Okay? The Brooklyn game, you better examine that very well. And understand what you did wrong and understand why you came out or how you figure out how you come out unprepared like that. And don't repeat that. You don't throw that in the garbage. You look at that. Somebody better tell Julius that, hopefully. Okay. RJ too. Come back, focus, and ready. Thing I like about RJ, which everybody mentions, which is true, he doesn't get too high or too low. He stays even keel all the time. You need to be that way in New York, and he is. That's why he's built for New York. So that's the case. But at this point, it's time for us to, the Knicks to refocus, get right tonight against Detroit and get this W and then build on that. Okay. If they could win tonight, they will be 6-6 back to 500, and we'll go from there and see what we could do. Okay. But in the meantime, this is a good game for the Knicks to get themselves together here. I haven't heard any news about Mitchell Robinson at this point. I know they said 7 to 10 days they're going to reevaluate him. And so we're going to, see, hopefully maybe by Sunday or Monday, it'll be 7 days at that point where he's at in terms of comeback. The Knicks miss him much more than people realize. The defense he provided, the rim protection he provides, the way he covers up, the way he rolls to the basket and is a threat, the way he gets offensive rebounds on a lot of misses by like a Brunson, where he's going to the basket or RJ and doesn't finish, and Mitch is there to clean it up. They miss a lot of that. So to get him back sooner, the better. Okay. Grimes is listed as day to day. So he's listed as probable for tonight against Detroit. I'm not sure how Tibbs is going to handle this with him. Because what I'm saying is I don't know how many minutes Tibbs will play him. And that's going to determine how many minutes Evan Fournier plays. Because the more minutes Grimes gets, the less minutes Fournier is going to get. Okay, that's just how this is going to go. So I'd like to see him get about 15 minutes tonight. Bring him back slowly. Now they've had a day to practice. He played 5 minutes against Brooklyn. He needs time, to come back. I don't want to see him playing 30 minutes tonight, because then he'll be sore. I want him to come back 15 minutes tonight and then maybe 20 and then rest over the weekend, make sure he's getting right. And then the next game, I think, is Monday. Maybe start playing him a little bit, 15, 20 more minutes and go from there. But we'll see how Tibbs handles him. But he seems to be on his way back, hopefully he doesn't get a setback. He seems to be on his way to full recovery at this point. So there's that. So that's where we at tonight. We'll probably see the same starting five, which includes Cam Reddish. Tonight, Cam had a really tough game against Brooklyn on Wednesday. Now, like I said, I don't blame Cam, for having 0 points when he's trying to guard Kevin Durant. Looking back on it, I would have rather them just kept Cam on him instead of forcing the ball out of Durant's hands, because Durant killed us and his teammates killed us with open looks when the Knicks were doubling him and not getting back to their man. I'd like the Knicks to stick with their man and let Cam just even if Durant scored 50, it wouldn't have been as bad as him scoring 29 and everybody else getting 20, couple guys getting 20 and 15 that wouldn't have. Okay. So, we'll see what happens next time, but Cam coming out tonight, hopefully he has a good game offensively. I know he's going to be prepared defensively, but I'd like to see him get more involved offensively, get some good shots. And be ready to start sticking them. I'm looking for Cam to have a nice game tonight and the reason I'm pulling for him so much is because I really believe he's that talented that if he blossoms into what I think he can become, it'd be just like the Knicks going out and getting a really high quality free agent. Okay, because Cam is that good. So he's already showing himself defensively. I expect that to continue. I'd like him to start getting more offensively involved. And Tibbs mentioned the other day that everybody's got to move without the ball. And I think he was talking to Cam there because Cam does stand in the corner a lot. I think he's conserving his energy for the defensive side, but he's got to move without the basketball a little bit. And I believe Jalen Brunson will find him if he does. So let's look for that. I want to see that tonight. I won't see the game live. I'll see the replay tomorrow night. But looking for a Knicks win today and them to go back to 500. Can't sleep on Detroit. Got to come prepared to beat them. And I think they will. All right. Y'all have a really good Friday. Be safe out there. Have a good weekend. Be safe out there. Sure.